Hello.
Hi,
Hi. Could you define consciousness?
I can try. So, the way I think of consciousness is like this. I think of it as the first thing that we know intuitively, even probably in the womb. Uh, we know that embryos have some self-awareness, and so the knowledge that we exist is the first intuition, the first uh, experience of consciousness that we have in our lives, and it's a constant. We have this sense of I exist, of the I-ness. It's the only constant in our lives, actually. It goes, we have that from birth through to death, at least. And the other thing that I find interesting about it is that it's the same for all of us. Everything else is different. We all have separate bodies, different minds, different personalities, but we all have this sense of existence. So I feel like it's something that unites us.
Movement. It's the idea of activity. It's something that's neither created nor destroyed. It's infinite and it provides. And when I think of consciousness, I think of something that's amorphous, that's not tangible. And it's everywhere and everything, and it's no thing. And that's what consciousness is to me.
Consciousness is the set of interactions between all things. Consciousness is social and it's ecological. Thank you.
Did you ever hear the fact that we are all one? It's because we miss somehow the mark, because we are functioning without realizing within the concepts which have been given to us by the belief system. Thinking that love, happiness, beauty, all the intangibles, those are concepts that they can be measured with the mind. The mind can never measure the intangibles. The mind can never measure love, happiness, beauty, innocence, freedom, ecstasies. Those are things of the heart, not of the mind. So that is we are coming to all of us to realize not what it is, but what it is not.
Bright eyes, yes. Third eye, us.
What is consciousness? That's a wonderful question, and it inspires me to want to know what consciousness is fully. And yeah, for me, when I think of consciousness, I think of awareness is the first word that comes to mind. And I think of, and it's funny because right now, I even feel myself flashing to unconscious. Like I'll hear a sound in the background, and then my attention will move away. And there's a lot going on right here, so I feel like it's like these flashes in and out of consciousness, or being conscious of what I'm doing, what I'm saying, the breeze, the smells in the air, the sensations in my body. And for me, it's also like being centered in my heart, like feeling like I have the universe in my heart, and things.
Oh, I just have 1,000%.
It's so amazing and beautiful.
Being alive. I think consciousness is being able to be alive and grow and connect with everything around you and form a love bond.
So I can think of three great metaphors for consciousness. One of them is that consciousness, as we experience it, like as humans, it's like we are islands. And islands, they kind of poke their heads above the water, and you can just see the top part. So we're like that. We see one another. We can see one another's bodies, or at least the outside bit of it, and we can see the surface, at least, of our own minds. We can feel our conscious minds, but we know that there's something much bigger underneath, and that's our unconscious, if you like, or subconscious, and then maybe our unconscious, and that's kind of like under the island is a mountain beneath the surface. But if you think about islands, the interesting thing about islands is that underneath the mountain, they're all connected. And that's, for me, a really nice metaphor for consciousness, because I think on that level, we're all the same. Our minds are just reflecting the same thing. And that's what we mean in meditation or in yoga when we say that all is one, or that we're connecting to this oneness. So that's one metaphor. Second metaphor you can use is that of moonlight reflecting on water. When, say, the cows, they're coming home in the evening from the field, and the ground's wet, and they leave these footprints, and then at night they fill up with water, and the moon comes up and reflects on each one of them. I could say that the moon is consciousness. The individual little pools that are reflecting the moonlight are individual minds that are reflecting the same consciousness. So our minds are able to reflect consciousness. The consciousness is not produced by our minds. We're reflecting a universal transmission of consciousness. And that's why when we experience that as pure form, the feeling of separation from one another becomes less and less. We feel really close. We feel love. St. Francis of Assisi felt so much love because he was connected to that consciousness very directly, that he even loved the moon and the sun and the squirrels and the birds. That's the experience.
What is consciousness to you?
Consciousness to me is being present, or in the present, and I guess being aware of what you're thinking and why you're thinking it and how you're thinking it. So really practicing being in the moment, and I guess awareness. Constant, it's something that you consciously have to work on all the time.
The definition of consciousness also is that it's not localized. That in effect, there is such a thing as transpersonal consciousness, and this is not something that is just, a metaphysical postulate. You may notice how people resonate with other people, how animals attract other animals, whether as prey or as mates, or binding together in a community. And you could almost say that, I guess I'm being pretty vague, but I'm as good as I can.
Thank you.
Like a feeling inside of you. It's like life in general. Really, it's not something that's palpable or really describable in any way. It's like personality on a whole different level. Wow, I wouldn't even know where to begin with a question like that. It's like who you are and how you perceive yourself, but at the same time, it's everything else. Wow. It's thought, it's, your actions, everything that you want to be, everything you're not, everything you are. Consciousness is everything, really. I guess it's why we're here.
The undivided mystery. It's a frequency. When I think of consciousness, a little metaphor that came to me last night was think of holding a book in front of me, if I'm unconscious, like let's say sleeping, and there's a book being held in front of me, I'm not aware of that book or what that object is, and upon waking, I'm able to kind of conceive like, oh, okay, this is a book, this is an object, and then the more conscious I become, I'm able to see what kind of book this is, what's in this book, what does this book entail, and let's say it's a cookbook. I'm becoming more conscious, and I'm able to now read a recipe, create a recipe, and so this consciousness that's expanding, that's always expanding, it's infinite, and the more conscious I become, the more I rejoice in it and surrender to it and explore it. I'm able to now create an abundance of recipes and share that with others. Yeah, it's something shared. It's light. It's dancing toes.
Consciousness may be the biological mechanism of neurons firing in our brain, but it's also when people come together and hold space and love each other. And sometimes you have to look at consciousness from many perspectives, looking in at this one entity from different places, and no one's really wrong about it. Yeah.
I think I prefer a multiplicity of definition for consciousness as opposed to trying to find one. Limits it and shifts the thinking towards one with limitations. And consciousness is everything, it's all around, it's embedded within what we do, who we are.
Hello, Forrest.
Hello, hi.
Hi, can you define consciousness?
No.
Can you try?
Well, when I wake up in the morning, I don't think I ever really woke up. And it's nice because even though I'm still dreaming, like there's this like thing leaping out of my chest, and I've woken up and that thing is still there. And it's this nice thread because the thread never started and never went away, but I'm like part of it, and it's this wonderful feeling to know that even though this thread is not subject to cause and effect, I get to be subject to cause and effect, which is a good thing for me because, you know, I'm a freaking body and human and all that. So, but that thread is this like convincing argument for me that the consciousness that I know isn't stuck, because in short, that it's essential, meaning that it's freaking long behind me and freaking long ahead of me, is the consciousness that leads to a really nice philosophy.
Is it infinite?
I would love to know. But so to answer that question, I would have to like be able to have you know, math is this great example of describing abstract symbols to describe really complex subjects. In the same way, I'd need to have some great language, and English is pretty good, but I feel it's not like concise enough to give you.
You need light language?
You need some pretty abstract stuff to hit you with the real good dirt.